And congratulations for your first new album. I think you did pretty good.
Thank you so much. I am thrilled. Yeah, feel really lucky. Met Charlie at the right time.
Yeah, yeah.
And to be put for this to be my first release is really exciting, and we've been really happy with people. I really seem to like it, and it just it's such a crapshoot these days. Get when you release stuff about whether it's gonna get it's a 16 track double volume record, so it's like there wasn't a particular single or anything like that. Because nowadays, people are just posting these singles because you can only pitch one song to Spotify per release.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like your White album. It's an epic release for your first album, and it's really interesting together. I want to document audio wise a couple things, and then we'll get into the interview. Sam Fribush, welcome to Something Came from Baltimore.
Happy to be here. Hold on, let me record this. Sorry.
Yeah, this is the real part.
Okay, we're rolling.
Okay.
I'm using just a separate software to record the audio, so I'm just gonna send you the audio wave when
Perfect.
we're done of just my end. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great.
Love to have
All
it.
right, go ahead. We're
Okay, Sam Fribush, welcome to Something Came from Baltimore. Sam Fribush, welcome to Something Came from Baltimore.
very happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Sure. What we're talking about is an epic first album of yours. There's so many things here that a fan can get involved in, but Sam Fribush is it's the organ trio. You're doing the Hammond B. Charlie Hunter is on guitar. Jeffrey Clapp is on drums. It's a double volume. It's volume 1 is called Riverboat. Volume 2 is called The Root. And then if you go on the Spotify, there is a mix of both called the Sam Fry organ trio that he had created. And then on Sam's Spotify, he created the originals. So it's called High Point, and you can hear all of the original songs that they covered, it's a motley crew of really interesting music, and that's really, really cool. The album is on Flybird Music, and the release date was March 5th, 2021. Now, the High Point Spotify playlist is actually because that was where it was recorded, right? In High Point, North Carolina.
Yep.
Now, I used to live in Hendersonville, which is real close to Asheville, and
Yeah.
I love it there. I wish I had a job that paid well. I'd still be there.
It's funny you say that because I have a strong connection to Baltimore. My dad's whole family's from there. They still live there, so I used to go there all the time as a kid. Big Orioles, big Ravens fans.
Yeah, I used to work for the Orioles. How I describe it, it's the Southern hospitality for a northern city. You go up a little further up north and it gets a little rough. But in Baltimore, everyone's family. They'll talk to you.
Absolutely. It's a good northern southern city, like you said.
Yeah. Now, when I was in Hendersonville, I was really immersed in, I guess, your scene. There's a big, heavy duty blues scene there, along with like an Appalachian and roots music in general. So I think you always are going to be finding work, and you're going to have a cool experience. There's like-minded people who are loving what you're doing.
Yeah, North Carolina is a very beautiful place. It's rich in music, like you said, and culture and people. And yeah, up there in the mountains, there's some great musicians in Hendersonville, great luthiers, guitar makers. Yeah, just all around. I actually grew up playing Appalachian folk music. I play fiddle and banjo too. So it's this is kind of the heart, the Galax Mount Airy region is where a lot of that stuff started.
You are the organist at the Kingdom Workshop Center in Danville, Virginia. Your pastor is Cecil Ezekiel Bridgeforth, and there's a video of you, just a small one, on your YouTube page. And how did that evolve? Are you only available when you're not touring to be there? Are you there on Thursdays, like when they do have like choir practice, or how involved, I guess, are you?
I'm the church organist. I'm there every Sunday morning. I've been playing Hammond in church for the past, I don't know, I guess I want to say since 2017, maybe, since I graduated college. It started in Boston. I played at a church there for a while outside of Boston in Brockton, Massachusetts. And then when I moved to New Orleans, I started working at a church there. And we actually played Jazz Fest in the gospel tent with that band, the New Orleans church. But so when I moved back to Greensboro, an old friend of mine who plays sacred steel guitar from North Carolina hit me up. He said he was the musical director at a church in Danville, and they were looking for a new organist. So I went up there and connected pretty well with Bishop Bridgeforth, and been working there for almost about a year now.
I am such a fan of the Campbell brothers. Campbell brothers are a guide to me. They're sacred steel guys. One of them died during COVID, and I'm like horrified. My goal was the pilgrimage up to New York, like upstate New York, just to watch them on a Sunday. I worked at Live at the World Cafe, and we're not allowed to, fanboy on any of the artists. And I only did it with the Campbell brothers because they were there and I had all their albums. And I'm like, I am not allowed to talk to you, but please sign my CDs. I said, I love these albums. They're great.
They're the real deal. And Charlie Hunter, who plays guitar on my record, is good friends with them.
Yeah, they're great. Well, so is Charlie Hunter. On YouTube, there is a video of you guys doing a one take on a Crusaders stomp and buck dance. And the video is incredible. You have a dog in the window. It looks like someone's, back rumpus room, but it's actually a recording studio. The audio is fantastic. Is that the one take that was recorded?
Yeah, so that was recorded, in one take. That's the audio. It's actually not the version that you hear on the record. The version of Stomp and Buck Dance on the record was recorded earlier but that version that you're hearing in that video is all live, us jamming on the spot.
That's fantastic. One thing about this album that I think is really interesting is his sound of his guitar is so clean, and you can hear every pick, and it just seems like it's kind of overwhelming of how that is produced. You can hear every single element of it, and it sounds 360 almost.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I will say that the thing about Charlie is it's all in his hands. He can do that on any instrument.
Yeah, it looked effortless, and it looked really annoying. I'm like, you are pumping out some serious sounds, and I'm looking at you, and you look like you're, connected, but you're also thinking of other stuff, like it's, a musical genius of some sort.
He usually plays the hybrid guitar, which is the 7 or 8 string guitar that he holds down the bass and the guitar part at the same time. So him just playing 6 string guitar is a little bit of and I would say maybe a little bit easy compared to what the heavy lifting that he usually does.
How did you find the Crusaders? Because we're definitely going to play a segment of that song, the original, and then we're going to go into your version. You're too young for the Crusaders. So how did you hear about them?
I love jazz music and funk and blues and R&B, and have checked out a lot of different stuff, a lot of different genres, and I particularly love music from the 70s. And Joe Sample, the piano player in the Crusaders, is just an incredible keyboardist and composer, and kind of a pioneer of funk. So very familiar with Joe's catalog, and we were just trying to pick songs that were unique and interesting and are kind of deep cuts and stuff that people might recognize, and do our own thing with it.
Yeah, now it makes more sense. Another fanboy thing about Joe Sample, I met him at Live at the World Cafe. I guess I'm lying because I fanboyed on him too. And he is like just down to earth, cool guy. Looked extremely healthy. He just passed, I guess maybe 5 years now, but he always seemed to be involved with his like physical health, and he just looked young for his age. And I don't know, just he had that aura of being just a cool guy. Like you'd love to just be in the room with him.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I wish I could have met him.
This makes sense about D'Angelo. So I was like, how do you have these album cuts? Now, everyone loves Voodoo. It's number 28 on the best albums of all time of Rolling Stone. It's in the hearts and minds of people, but you guys have 2 really album tracks. And I was like, okay, well, why? And then I saw, oh, Charlie played on both of these and has a writing credit on The Root. He killed it on The Root, and you guys just do a really cool version of it too. So what I want to do also is play a version of the original, just a sample, and then we'll go right into the song The Root. But what's your thought on D'Angelo and that song?
Yeah, well, like you said, that's kind of a really generational record. that has been very influential on people my age, and the whole, I guess they call it neo soul now, but that whole scene. And yeah, it was 20th year anniversary of that record. It came out in 2000, like you said, and I just, me and all of my peers have just worn that record out. And so yeah, Charlie plays hybrid guitar on Spanish Joint on the original. So he's holding down the bass, and there's a guitar solo in the middle of the track. You hear D'Angelo say Charlie. Um, and the Root, the song The Root, which is actually one of my favorite tracks and songs in general off of D'Angelo, off the Voodoo record. Charlie wrote the chords to that song, not the lyrics. Yeah, so we were planning to record Spanish Joint already because had just been jamming on it. It's got a cool little minor vamp. It had a real good feel on the organ. And while we were in the studio, we tracked Spanish Joint maybe once or twice. And Charlie said, well, let's check this out. And he started playing The Root. And I jumped in on it. And Geoff jumped in on drums. And that's the take you hear. I think it was one take.
So we're definitely going to play the originals and go into the samples, and we'll go right into Billy Preston, Will It Go Round in Circles, which I would say you were raised on that track. That's a hot Hammond B song, I think you could. And you did 3 versions of it. Which one is your favorite?
Well, that song started as a shuffle arrangement. So it's Billy Preston's Will It Go Round in Circle, but done with a heavy shuffle feel to it, like organ blues shuffle groove. And that's the first take you hear. And then the second 2 takes, we kind of went more in a funk direction with it. Geoff started playing some grooves, and those were kind of like outtake jammers, but they had real high energy to them, so we decided to throw them on there. But I would say probably my favorite, I mean, take 2 off volume 1 is cool, but I like the original where we play it with the shuffle feel, which is on volume 2.
I'm going with take 3. Yeah, but they were all great.
Yeah, I meant take 3 off volume 1. Yeah, take 2 is a little all over the place, but hey, some people like it.
The Gap Band. Okay, so the Gap Band 4 album came out in 1982. It had 3 monster hits. Early in the Morning, Outstanding, and You Drop a Ball on Me. And you guys do an album cut of Lonely Like Me, which I was like, wow, that is obscure, but also what a great song. So what I was doing last night is I was in Wikipedia, and then I was staring at the Gap Band, and then I went into Charlie Wilson, and I was wasting way too much time playing tracks of but it was a fun thing to do.
Charlie Wilson, man, hell yeah.
If you ever saw him in concert, he kills. But how did you pick this song? This song's a little rare.
Charlie brought this song to the table. I'm a big fan of Gap Band, but this particular song I was not that familiar with, Lonely Like Me, and we decided to put a little, make it more of like a ballad. We slowed it down a little bit. I guess, yeah, Charlie really liked the song, so we decided to record it.
The Switch song. Okay, so There Will Never Be hit number 6 on the R&B charts in 1978. It was 36 in the pop charts. It's the only top 40 pop song of Switch. Now, because of Questlove is in love with Switch, and I listen to his playlist a lot, and I'm like, why is he putting Switch on? And then I went into Switch's greatest hits about a year ago, and I was like, ooh, okay, I get it now. It's hot. It's the negative version of DeBarge / Jackson 5 in some ways. But wow, that's a rarity too.
Yep. Yeah, that one's really exciting. Switch is a fairly new band to me as well, but I love him. I mean, Bobby DeBarge was the head, he wrote the song There'll Never Be. Yeah, Switch is just kind of a funky version of DeBarge, like you said. And this song, actually, I sent the record to my friend James Poyser, who plays in the Roots. He plays keyboards in the Roots, and he loved this cut. This was his favorite. This cut is what we did with it was put it in a 6/8, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a little bit faster on the original.
I was reading up on Wikipedia about Bobby DeBarge last night. Died at 38 years old with HIV. And you had me going. I have 3 interviews stacked today, and it took me about 7 or 8 hours. it was because I started really getting into the artists that you picked, and I got stuck, and I went, okay, I'm going to skip over Lee Dorsey. I mean, because I can't fit it in on the show. But there was another one too. I was like, oh my god! So it was great. I love the fact. I love the fact that you picked these rarities that, you know, I can love your album, and then if I want to dig in a little further, I got, you know, a little secret, you know, behind it, a little story of really good stuff.
Absolutely, and that was the goal in a lot of ways. To just pay tribute to these artists. I mean, so many artists have left us in the past year or more. In particular, the Lee Dorsey track was in a way my tribute to Art Neville and Alan Toussaint. Alan Toussaint wrote the song, but both those guys are not with us anymore. We also recorded this track called Swinging at the Haven, which was written by Ellis Marsalis, who passed away this past year due to COVID. So just losing a lot of these New Orleans icons has been hard for me as a keyboard player, and also the whole musical community in New Orleans.
Yeah, and well, we can't negate one of your contributions, which is Fly Fry, which I thought is probably my favorite song on the whole album. And you've been holding on to that one for a while, or that just kind of came out through the jam session?
Big. Thank you so much. No, that was just day of came out.
That's like a one take or two takes, because it looks.
Yeah, that's a one take. I mean, I think we cut it both days and just picked one of them. It's a bit of an homage to Jimmy McGriff and his song "Keep Loose."
Yeah, now that you said that, I can feel it, Jimmy McGriff. So I think you should praise yourself for your first album. What a great experience. And did you get your COVID shots yet? Are you ready to hit the road soon?
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. Yeah, I've been vaccinated, and we have some live shows coming up that I'm really excited about.
Yeah, people are so ready to hear live music. People are so ready to, you know, hit the road. I'm seeing a lot of tour dates like start to pop up, and they feel firm. They don't feel like they're going to be postponed or anything. So we're going to cross our fingers for that. The album is called,
Hallelujah.
Yeah, it's Volume 1 and Volume 2. Riverboat Volume 1, and it is Volume 2, The Root. And we are talking about the Sam Fribush Trio. And I thank you very much for joining me on Something Came from Baltimore.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you, Thomas. And shout out to Baltimore. Big fan of Baltimore, Baltimore City, the Sun, the Orioles, the Ravens. And we're down here in North Carolina, but we're going to come up that way soon. So Rams Head or 8x10, any of those places.
Yeah.
Give your boy
Soundstage, maybe they might play.
Right.
But yeah, and you can't forget the 2-for-1 happy hours. I've never been to a place that's a standard.
Oh, come on.
Gotta love it.
I'm gonna need to get some crab.
Yeah, and crab cakes too. Okay, well, I thank you very much for doing this. We did a right around a half hour, so it was perfect. This is great. I feel that if I had a chance to listen to the album even more, I would have pulled up more stuff. But I want to thank you, because it's an epic recording, and two, it was a lot of fun. It was, to me, this was like, oh, this is like, you know, discovery, and it was just a pleasure to, you know, be a part of. So I thank you for that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you dug it, man. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah,
and you know, just keep me in the loop. I'm excited to you know, get some press out there. So just let me know when this drops.
I'll give you everything I got.
Okay, cool.
All right, good.
All right, my man.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.